All right, what's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the No Name College Football Podcast. This is episode 3. Um, really the first big week of college football. Last episode we talked about week 0. So we'll recap that real quick here in a few minutes. And then start going over the big games of this week. First full week of college football. We have college football all weekend: Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Lots of action, and ready to see how it plays out for sure. Just to recap Saturday real quick. Southern Cal, San Jose State. Shout out to Jacob because he called the score exactly correct.
Which was wild.
Saying 56-28, which was correct. I'm not sure. I didn't write down. Usually, like last year when we would record these in person, I would write down like in a little notebook like the games we were going to talk about, and then like, okay, I picked this, Jacob picked this, all of that, and I kind of kept record of it. Didn't do that last week because I didn't really want to do it just since we only had like 6 games and we were picking games that we kind of knew nothing about. So not gonna start our little record thing yet, but we will do it this week for sure. Um, Nothing much there. I mean, the defense, obviously, they gave up 28 points to San Jose State, which they shouldn't do because they're the 6th team in the nation, in my opinion. But I mean, same time, I don't know how hard they were trying. Um, to be fair to them.
To me, it was just like every other Lincoln Riley game ever.
Yeah, it's reasonable for sure. Notre Dame, once you kind of have Navy's number on the defensive side of the ball, or well, on Navy's offensive side of the ball, on your defense side of the ball, they're not going to do much against you. And Notre Dame had their number, and their offense was way too overpowered for Navy's defense. 42-3, though, in my opinion, again, as the 13th team in the nation against a team like Navy, is what you should do if you're Notre Dame in that game. But Sam Hartman looked good. Great tune-up game, I think, for Notre Dame heading into the season for sure.
Notre Dame looked really good,
Yeah.
I think.
Not really going to go over these other games because I'm going to be honest. Notre Dame, Navy, and then I actually did watch a little bit of UMass, New Mexico State. I can't lie. My boy C-Dub, Christian Wells, leading the reception yards with 1 reception for 68 yards in that game. San Diego State beat Ohio. Louisiana Tech beat Florida International, and Vandy beat Hawaii only 35-28, which was,
Underwhelming.
I guess, a little bit of a surprise. Yeah. Hawaii's quarterback had a pretty decent game. I saw by the box score, at least. You see it right here. 351 yards passing is pretty good, in my opinion. But let's move into this week. Let's have some fun here. Starting on Thursday, not a whole lot of action on Thursday, but it is week 1, so you are going to get, some of these Power 5 schools like Wake Forest playing a team like Elon, certain stuff like that. But on Thursday or tomorrow, because today is Wednesday, recording this Wednesday night, UCF is playing Kent State. UCF is minus 35.5, so they should win that game pretty big time. That's one of the more notable games on Thursday night, if that tells you anything. And then really the 3 games we want to talk about on Thursday night here. Starting off at 7:30, you got NC State versus UConn. NC State's minus 14. It is at Connecticut, which I think probably isn't going to play a factor in right now because it's still, as we can see right here from AccuWeather, going to be 71 degrees. Now, if this was 2 months from now, I don't know how NC State would play up to the weather at the time up there. But minus 14.5. I'll take NC State to win. And this should be a game that NC State should cover. But since this is the first game of the year, it's at Connecticut, I'll take UConn plus 14. Why not?
I think NC State's a little bit underrated. Their preseason win total is only 6.5. And if you look at their schedule, I think 7 or 8 is very feasible for them. I agree. I think they win this game. Not super easily, but I think it'll be anywhere from like 13 to 20 points. So I would probably take NC State to cover, but it might be closer. than you think it could be.
Yeah, for sure. Then we got the first, I guess, kind of big game of the year. Here with number 14 Utah facing Florida. They're at home. Utah's only -4.5 though. Again, I think I said this like in our prediction video. You never know what you're going to get out of a team like Florida, because they have the talent. It's just that is that talent going to translate to the field, and will they perform the way that they should? And honestly, past couple of years, I'm trying to think, they really haven't. The last time I could be wrong on this. I could be so wrong on this. But the last time I can remember Florida really performing up to their expectations was that Kyle Trask year when they almost beat Alabama in the SEC championship.
That's definitely the last time that Florida was good. In the last 2 years, they've had losing seasons.
Yeah, for sure.
One thing about this game, though, I don't know if you saw today, is that Cam Rising is not expected to play.
He's not. Okay, see,
That's a report. It hasn't been announced yet, but he's not expected to play.
Okay, I did not know that. I guess that's why the line's only -4.5. But it's really tough for me to not pick Utah here. I think it's definitely a game I could see Florida winning, but I'm gonna have to give Utah the edge being at home. So I will take Utah to win. I think this could be a thriller of a game. Just kick off the season, honestly.
I do too.
But -4.5. With me taking Utah win, I'm also gonna take them to cover that -4.5. Could definitely see them winning by like a touchdown or two, or like 10 points, like a 31-21 type of game. I think is definitely in play here.
I think this game's going to be really low scoring. I don't believe in Florida's offense, and without Cam Rising, I don't know if I believe in Utah's either. They both have decent defenses. I'm also going to take Utah to win. I just think that it being at Utah is going to play a huge role. They get really loud there.
Yeah.
And I'll also take them to cover, though I don't feel great about picking them to cover. But I'll take them to cover the 4.5.
For sure. And then last but not least on Thursday night, also at 8 o'clock, got Nebraska, Minnesota, a Big Ten conference game, to start of the year. Interesting. I feel like I might be wrong. I could be wrong here, but I feel like that's something that we don't usually see. Minnesota is at home against Nebraska. They are -7. This is a tough pick for me, honestly. If you've got your pick, go ahead, because I'm still thinking about this one.
I think a combination of new energy at Nebraska, and there's been a little bit of off the field distractions with PJ Fleck in Minnesota. I think Nebraska goes into Minnesota and gets a big time confidence win early in the season. I think Jeff Sims comes out and proves himself as a solid starting quarterback. And I think the Nebraska defense will step up and make stops when they need to, and they'll win a close one at Minnesota.
Yeah. I was very much considering taking Nebraska to win this game. Kind of a new culture there, and all that. And Minnesota lost, their two big key contributors on their offensive side of the ball. In Mo, why am I blanking on his name?
Ibrahim.
Mo Ibrahim, yeah, and Tanner Morgan, quarterback. So I mean, I think you could see a down year from the Golden Gophers this year for sure. I think I'm also taking Nebraska to win this ball game, which automatically covers since they're not favored. So we're gonna move on from Thursday, move to Friday. Again, not much, happening here. Interesting matchups, I'd say. Michigan State, Central Michigan.
Miami and Miami, baby.
Very interesting matchups. Stanford, Hawaii. Hawaii's already played a game, so could work in their favor on that one. But the one we do want to pick here is Louisville, Georgia Tech, ACC matchup. Louisville is going to Atlanta to play Georgia Tech, which it's not a home game for Georgia Tech, but at the
It-
same time, it pretty much is a home game for them. But Louisville is -7.5. Georgia Tech is just one of those teams that until I see that they're good, I can't really, pick for them to win a ball game. So I'm going to take Louisville to win this. -7.5 is a tricky line. But I might also take Louisville to cover this, honestly.
Yeah, Louisville's been a popular sleeper pick this offseason just because of their schedule and the talent they've got. Both of these teams have new coaches, and I think that both of these teams will be improved this year. With that being said, I'm going to take Louisville to win, but I'm going to take Georgia Tech in the points.
Interesting. Then we'll move on to Saturday. You still want to keep our tradition where we pick app games or no?
App wins by as much as they want to.
Very regional pick.
Gotta take about the Michigan ECU game. I think ECU covers 36 points.
I think that's very feasible now that I'm looking at that. Wow, 36 is a lot, man.
Like you could totally see that game being 17-7 at halftime.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
Now
I
Michigan's gonna beat them, but you know,
yeah, for sure. But let's talk about Virginia, Tennessee, real quick. Virginia, first game back since what? Probably November, because of the tragedy that happened there. They didn't play their last. Well, it was 2 or 3 games. 3 games last
it was
Thursday, I think.
2 games.
3 games. Okay, so I think that they can come out fired up. It's gonna be so hard playing against Tennessee in Tennessee. Now they are not again, this is not a home game for Tennessee, because as we see right here, they are playing in the Titan Stadium, but they are still in Tennessee, which I think will make it a little harder, for these Virginia friends to travel. Um, but I think I'm going to take Virginia to cover 28 points in this game.
Yeah, I could see that happening. I know a guy that me and you both know, Dre Walker. He's actually second string Virginia as a corner as a freshman, so he'll probably get to play in this game.
Yeah.
Uh, but I'm definitely taking Tennessee to win. I don't care if they play it
Oh,
at Tennessee,
yeah,
Virginia,
for
or on
sure.
top of
For
an
sure.
abandoned Walmart. I think Tennessee wins.
In my opinion, it's the same as this Michigan East Carolina game where I'm definitely taking the ranked team to win, the favored team to win, but I'm going to take both teams to cover those points also. Well, I'm sorry, both
I'm
underdogs to cover.
I'm gonna do the same. I was gonna take Tennessee to cover, but I think you talked me into Virginia
Yeah.
covering in the points.
And then we get into really probably, if I'm correct, yeah, because a lot of these other 12 o'clock games are just kind of nobody teams. The big game of the 12 o'clock time frame on Saturday, it's the Deion Sanders debut against TCU, who is a reigning what would be the word here? National champion.
National runner-up,
Yeah, a national runner up. Yeah, how about that?
kinda.
Yeah, kind of. Again, talked about this in the last episode. They opened up as the 17th ranked team in the nation after making it to the college football playoff and college football national championship, which again kind of surprising to me. But they're -20.5. I'm 100% here to take Colorado +20.5 for this game.
I'm taking TCU to win, and I'm laying the points. I just don't think Colorado's there yet, talent-wise. This TCU team's got a lot of confidence, and I believe in Deion Sanders, and I believe in that coaching staff. I just don't think they've got the talent this year, and as good as that coaching staff is, TCU's coaching staff last year was incredible.
Yeah.
And this game's in Fort Worth at TCU. TCU's got disrespect in the offseason. I think TCU comes out, makes a point against Colorado, and wins this game by 3 or 4 touchdowns.
Okay. Okay. Um, another side note, because I just saw it while we were looking at it. Oklahoma's favored by 35.5 points. Give me Arkansas State to cover that. Don't sleep on the Sun Belt teams, especially in week 1. But let's move on from that 12 o'clock time frame. Again, not much happening there. Ole Miss is playing Mercer. Not a lot of action happening.
Ohio State, Indiana.
Yeah, until we get to this 3:30 time frame. We got two very, very decent games here. In Ohio State, Indiana, and Boise State, Washington. First off, in Bloomington, Ohio State is favored by 30 points against the Hoosiers. I'm not gonna call it an upset yet. I can't do it in week 1. I can't pick some crazy upset in week 1. As much as I would want to, I can't do it. But give me Indiana plus 30 for sure. I think Ohio State does win this game though.
I think Ohio State wins this game, but I don't know if you saw a couple of weeks ago, Ryan Day said that he wanted to auction off the first play of this game for a fan to call. And in my opinion, that's just really disrespectful to Indiana. So just because of that, I'm taking Indiana in the points.
Yeah, for sure. And don't call me crazy, but I mean, don't be surprised if this game is close in the fourth quarter.
Speaking of games that could be close in the fourth quarter, that Washington Boise State game it's very interesting.
Woo! Yeah, I'm excited for this one. I get to watch my guy Taylor Green week 1. It's gonna be very, very hard for Boise State to walk in to Seattle though and beat Washington. I mean, they're gonna have to play perfect, I think, to be able to do that. Washington's favored by 14. Give me Washington to win this game, but give me Boise State to cover 14 points.
I'm gonna take Washington in the points. I don't think it's a blowout. I think 17-20, but I think Washington's got a legitimate defense to go with that potent offense they have.
Yeah.
And I think that'll pose some problems. But I do think Boise State is a legitimate team this year, and they could be the best team, the group of 5, if things work out for them. So
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a possibility for sure. Buffalo, Wisconsin is a little interesting at 3:30, 28 points.
what about that Auburn UMass game? UMass has already played a game.
They have.
You know,
They have. I think it could be a good game. Sneaky good game. How about that?
it's week 1. Nobody knows they're bad.
Yeah, for sure. And then moving on, I mean, dude, I don't know how Georgia's gonna beat UT Martin, man. I mean, if I was you,
That's
I'd
not
be
even a spread. UT Martin's supposed to beat us so bad. There's not even a spread.
um,
Remember the UNC game?
huh?
Isn't the UNC game at 3:30?
No, it's 7 o'clock.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So yeah, getting down here and then to the nightcap again, a little bit of an underwhelming week 1, in my opinion.
At least Saturday is.
Yeah, Saturday is for sure. Um, there's really not much to talk about. Here's one. Let's pick this one. I think this is a good one to pick. We got UTSA in Houston. -2. UTSA is favored over Houston, who just joined the Big 12. Correct. Yep. So first game in the Big 12 technically for Houston, even though it's not a conference game, but it's their first game since joining the Big 12. I might be wrong here. Let me look at this real quick. But was this who Houston played at the beginning of the year last year and they went to like 4 overtimes?
Yes. Yeah, it was.
Okay. So yeah, great game last year, early in the year between these two teams. UTSA is favored by 2. It's in Houston. I think Houston's gonna be riled up though. Give me Houston to win this game.
Okay. I think this game really could go either way. I think Houston's going to be hyped up first game in the Power 5. But with that being said, UTSA brings almost everybody back. I'm going to take the Roadrunners to win and lay the 2 points.
Completely reasonable pick. Completely reasonable.
Can't go either way.
Um,
Bama and Middle Tennessee State. Whew.
Dude, honestly, give me Bama or minus 39. Give me Bama
Yeah,
minus
they're
39.
having an open quarterback competition in that game, so they're going to be trying.
That's crazy, dude. um, and then here's where the nightcap picks up at 7:30 though. First we've got West Virginia going into University Park and playing the Nittany Lions. Penn State favored by 20.5. Seems like a lot to me, but I also could see this game easily being like 42-13 or 42-10, something like that. Give me Penn State to win and give me Penn State to cover minus 20.5 against West Virginia.
Yep, I'm going the same way. Penn State's legit this year.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Neil Brown didn't make it through the season in West Virginia.
Yeah. And then this is college game day this week. Local to us, probably game being played 25 minutes down the road from us. Got the Tar Heels, got the Gamecocks, North Carolina versus South Carolina. Man, I think this is going to be a really, really good game.
I do too. A lot of offense.
Yeah, UNC minus 2.5. It's a tough one for me to pick, honestly, because I really don't know what either one of these two teams are going to look like. But I know that the talks are at North Carolina that this offense is going to be extremely legit again and probably better than they were last year, which is kind of insane to say. But I do think their defense is going to step it up a little bit. They returned a lot of their, 4 and 5-star guys that they got that didn't really perform a whole lot last year, except for in the secondary. The offensive line is going to be a little bit of an issue. I'm not sure on how good South Carolina's defensive line is. So if South Carolina, I think if they can get pressure on Drake May, they win this game. But I think North Carolina is going to come out and light it up. What's the over under? 64.5. I wouldn't be surprised if the over hits. Give me the Tar Heels and give me them to cover minus 2.5.
For me, I think the big thing is UNC kept their defensive coordinator when they really shouldn't have. I personally don't see a reason to believe in this defense at North Carolina until I see it. The South Carolina defense, though they are not very good against the run, they are very good against the pass. I still think North Carolina puts up their points, but I think South Carolina gets the win.
Okay. Then this is a game I want to talk about. South Alabama Tulane. This is gonna be a great game. I'm letting everybody know now. The South Alabama Tulane game will be a great game. Tulane's minus 6.5. I could easily see them winning by touchdown, so that's really hard for me to pick. South Alabama returned almost everybody, I'm pretty sure. And they won 11 games last year.
10 or 11 games, yeah.
So, I mean, man, but I can't go against Tulane. I feel like give me Tulane to win. Give me South Alabama to cover. I think Tulane wins by 3 points.
Remember last year before the season started, the group of 5 team everybody was talking about was Houston. And then they just didn't do anything.
Yep.
I'm not saying that that's Tulane, but I'm going to pick South Alabama to get this win.
Very reasonable. And then there's one more game that I know about I want to talk about. Is this 10:30 game. Coastal Carolina, UCLA. Coastal Carolina is returning Grayson McCall after rumored. I don't know if it was confirmed, but that he couldn't get into Auburn because he didn't have good enough grades.
It's crazy, by the way.
Everybody thought that he was gonna, end up in a Power 5 school, probably an SEC school. But now he's back in the Sun Belt his last year at Coastal. He had him ranked all the way up to number 12 a few years ago.
Right.
But they lost their head coach, correct?
Right.
So big hit but it could have been even bigger, I feel like, for Coastal. Give me UCLA to win this game. Give me UCLA to cover minus 14.5.
I like UCLA this year. I like Chip Kelly. Um, I thought Dante Moore was going to win the starting job there, but he didn't. I'm definitely taking UCLA to win this game. I'm going to take Coastal to cover, though. I think this game gets into the mid 30s to 40s, though, for sure.
Sure. And then let's move over here to Sunday. We got Northwestern Rutgers, another Big Ten matchup to start off the year. You know, Rutgers is Rutgers is minus 6.5.
I mean, I'm picking Rutgers to win and cover. Northwestern had all that stuff go down with Pat Fitzgerald. Their new coach is an interim, a lot of negative publicity coming out of Northwestern. I'll take Rutgers.
Hmm. Give me Northwestern. Give me Northwestern to win that one. Oregon State also opens up their season on Sunday against San Jose State. Nothing much to really talk about there.
They win and cover.
Yeah. And then the big game. This is like the biggest game of week one by far, in my opinion. 7:30 Sunday night, ABC, LSU, Florida State, in Orlando. LSU minus 2.5. They just, I think it was today or maybe it was yesterday. They just lost their defensive lineman
Mason Smith.
Mason Adams, right?
Mason Smith, I think, but it could be.
Yeah.
We know, yeah.
Yeah. They lost him though for this game because of a very, very controversial situation where, if I'm correct, I could be wrong. I don't know. I was watching Joel Klatt talk about it though. I'm pretty sure he got money through NIL to sign autographs. And that's why they suspended him for a game.
Yeah. It's a stupid suspension.
Very, very stupid. Not sure in reality how much this affects LSU's gameplay. But I do know that he's a starting defensive lineman, huge, big bodied defensive lineman,
Yes.
that can, fill gaps and all that. Give me LSU to win this game still. And because it's only minus 2.5, give me them to cover also.
Yeah, I think we're in the same boat here. I've seen people talking about how LSU's overrated this year. I disagree. I think LSU's got a lot of talent. Year two under Brian Kelly, Jaden Daniels, great returning quarterback. They've got a lot of receiver talent. And I think this year, with revenge on their mind, that LSU gets the win and they cover.
For sure. And last but not least, the Monday night game. We got my Tigers opening up the year against Duke. I don't have any reason to pull for Duke anymore since my guy that went there transferred. And don't know if I ever said it in a video, but I am a Carolina basketball fan. So all my hate towards Duke can go back. So give me Clemson and give me minus 13.
Okay. I've gone back and forth about this game, not about the outcome. I think Clemson's going to get the win.
Yeah.
But I was going to take Duke to cover. But then I was thinking about y'all's new offensive coordinator, Garrett Riley. When is the last time that one of the Riley brothers had a bad QB?
Yeah.
So I think Cade Klubnik's going to have a good year. I'm going to take Clemson to cover hesitantly. I think Duke's a good team this year. But I think Clemson for sure gets the win.
Yeah. I'm interested to see our defense against Riley Leonard.
Riley Leonard's a pretty highly touted quarterback right now.
Yeah, because even though I might have hate towards Duke, I do think Riley Leonard is a good quarterback, for sure. But man, it's crazy to think, you know, in less than 24 hours, college football back in full swing. And we're gonna have a really big, meaningful game.
Really, too. Yeah, I'm excited. Week 0 was a nice little appetizer, but I'm ready for the full slate of college football games.
Yeah, for sure. This was a last minute recording. But next week we're gonna be able to hopefully get everything done on time. So we didn't do some of our segments this week, that we usually do, which is biggest spread of the week. And then I feel like there was one more that I'm forgetting about that we always did last year.
Super dog.
Super dog. Yep. Yeah. Super dog. So not gonna have those this week. We will have those next week though. And then also next week we'll have new rankings. For top 25 and Heisman, which will be exciting because
Not to mention a full recap of all the games that we picked. So
yeah, for sure. But we appreciate y'all watching. And we'll see y'all next week. Peace.
peace out.